Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast Special Edition show. This is going to be the 6th of 32 shows where I preview and predict every team's offseason. And now up is who I believe is the single most interesting team of the offseason. And that, my friends, is the Chicago Bears, who have the number 1 overall pick in the draft. And that's courtesy of the team that we just talked about in the previous show, the Carolina Panthers. We're going to talk a lot about that number 1 pick as this show goes on. But you know the drill. Free agents to be, team needs, franchise tag candidates, trade candidates, release candidates, and extension candidates. Draft fit, free agent fit, and a bold prediction for every team this offseason. And the Bears are now up. Free agents to be. There's a lot of notable ones for sure on this team. Running back Deontay Foreman, wide receiver Darnell Mooney, center Lucas Patrick, tight end Mercedes Lewis, tight end Robert Tonyan, defensive tackle Justin Jones, defensive end Yannick Ngakoue, cornerback Jalen Johnson, long snapper Patrick Scholes, and punt returner Trent Taylor. Team names, they have a lot of them. Some may argue quarterback. But right now they have a quarterback on the roster, and his name is Justin Fields. Wide receiver, center, offensive tackle, defensive end, defensive tackle, outside linebacker, cornerback, long snapper. Franchise tag candidate, Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson had an awesome year this past year for the Bears. Pro Football Focus has him rated as the 9th ranked free agent. He had an A grade as a corner this year, CB1. And I firmly believe that the Bears will franchise tag him and will ultimately extend him probably this offseason. Trade candidate, Justin Fields. This is kind of obvious when you have the number 1 overall pick with Caleb Williams sitting there for the Bears to take if they were to trade Justin Fields. That's obviously their big question this offseason. Whether to trade Justin Fields and take Caleb Williams first overall, or to pay Justin Fields and trade the number 1 pick and get a lot back for it. But let's face it, the number 1 overall pick in the draft is worth more than Justin Fields on the trade market right now. It's no question. So, that said, I do think that Justin Fields is a trade candidate. Release candidate, I'm going to say Cody Whitehair. Cody Whitehair is still under contract for the Chicago Bears. He did not start for them down the stretch. Lucas Patrick took over for him as a starter. He signed a 5-year contract extension before the 2019 season. And this upcoming season is the last year of that extension. So maybe they save some money. Or not save some money, or they take a little bit of a cap hit, and he only made the Pro Bowl once in his career, and that was 6 years ago. So I could see the Bears moving on from Cody Whitehair this offseason. Extension candidate, Khalil Herbert. Khalil Herbert is a good NFL running back. I think that the Bears may keep him around, and they won't pay him like how Christian McCaffrey got paid. But I do think that Herbert is someone that the Bears may want to keep. Draft fit. Some may argue Marvin Harrison Jr., and some may argue Caleb Williams. I might be in the minority here, and I'm going to say it's Marvin Harrison Jr. The Bears need a WR1. to me, DJ Moore is more like a 1.5. He played like a 1 this year with Justin Fields. But Marvin Harrison Jr., to me, is the best receiver prospect we've had in the draft since Calvin Johnson. If the Bears were to keep Justin Fields, that obvious need will be at the wide receiver position. I know they got DJ Moore in the deal for the number 1 pick from the Panthers last year. And DJ Moore has shown potential to be a WR1, but Harrison could be that missing piece for the Chicago Bears offense to really take off in future seasons if they were to keep Justin Fields. So I think the fit in Chicago for Marvin Harrison is logical. Free agent fit. I'm going to say Devin White. They can use an upgrade at the linebacker spot in the slot, and you can move him and Tremaine Edmonds around, and then you have CJ Edwards on the weak side. So I really do think that Devin White is an interesting fit with the Bears as a young player that really sometimes just how young players show flashes and then they don't really break out. I feel like that's the case with Devin White, who is the 73rd ranked free agent on Bleacher Report, on Pro Football Focus's board. He's gotten poor rating year after year, but played really well in the postseason when the Bucs won the Super Bowl that year. And the Bucs have a ton of hard decisions to make, and I think that Devin White is a free agent that somebody can just go out and overpay. And you could put Devin White in the Mike or on the weak side spot if you're the Bears. And he is an upgrade over TJ Edwards. So I would consider Devin White if I'm the Bears. All right, the bold prediction for the Chicago Bears. The team decides to trade the number 1 pick, but I will not reveal who that team is until I get to that team. But I'm going to say they trade down a few spots in the pecking order of the draft. And will draft Marvin Harrison Jr. And they also commit to Justin Fields long term. I think that's the move. There's no guarantee that Caleb Williams is going to be better than Justin Fields right now. And the Bears are in a division that's wide open. The Lions are no guarantee to win that division next year. The Packers are going to be better with Jordan Love, obviously, who is probably going to be the pick of, the quarterback that's going to make a monster leap and everyone's darling for MVP, yada, yada. You're going to hear all about Jordan Love. But Justin Fields has just as much upside as Jordan Love, if not higher upside. yes, Caleb Williams does have some upside, but my point is the number 1 overall pick has more value than Justin Fields, and you could get more back for the number 1 pick than you could for Justin Fields. Yes, Justin Fields will be worth a lot, but I think the number 1 overall pick is worth more in the market. So if I'm the Bears, you keep Fields, pay him, who really proved himself this season to be something close to a franchise quarterback. He's better than a lot of guys we saw get paid like Daniel Jones and Geno Smith and Derek Carr. He's better than those guys. He might be the best guy in the division, although some may argue Jordan Love. And I'll give you that. And some may argue healthy Kirk Cousins. I'll give you that. And dare I say, some may argue Jared Goff. They were just in the NFC title game. So you can make a case for any of those 4 guys as the best quarterback in that division. And I think that Justin Fields has the highest upside of any quarterback in that division. And the Bears are a team that wants to win now. I'll put it this way. If the Bears hired a new coach, then I would have said they're keeping the pick and taking Caleb Williams. If they kept Eberflus, which they did, they're probably going to keep Justin Fields too and just run it back. That's how I look at it. Had they had a new coach, rookie quarterback, maybe Jim Harbaugh being the exception of that, because I don't think Jim Harbaugh wants to be in a rebuilding situation. But any non-Harbaugh coach or non-Vrabel coach, like say if they hired the guy that Tennessee hired, Brian Callahan, then you go Caleb Williams. But if you hire Harbaugh or Vrabel, then I would have said keep Justin Fields. So depending on who they could have potentially hired to replace Eberflus, I would have probably talked myself into them keeping the pick and taking Caleb Williams. So I'm going to say somebody a few spots down trades up, and then the Bears end up getting Marvin Harrison Jr., and then they have Justin Fields. Maybe they sign Devin White. And that team, I would look at them to win the NFC North if Justin Fields is back. If Caleb Williams is their quarterback, maybe they will probably have the same number, like betting number, if Williams was their quarterback. But I'd rather have the certainty than the uncertainty at quarterback. But then again, people say to me, hey, Madison, did you just see C.J. Stroud led the Texans to a division title? Yes, he did. That's very true. And he had a great support system around him and a really good head coach. If it's Matt Eberflus with Caleb Williams, I don't think that's a division title winner. Maybe Matt Eberflus with Justin Fields, or say they fire Eberflus, and maybe next year, dare I say, is that a Bill Belichick team? That, keep an eye on them for Belichick and Vrabel in 2025. We talked about, who did we talk about earlier for Vrabel, Belichick, that combination? Oh, Buffalo. I said that about Buffalo. They're obviously a team to watch for Belichick next year, and same for the Bears. They're a Vrabel Belichick possibility next year, in my opinion. One of them could end up there regardless of who's at quarterback. And if they don't make the postseason, I think he's fired, Eberflus, and then they hire maybe they hire Bill, maybe they hire Vrabel. But that's obviously a Belichick destination potentially. Whether it's Caleb Williams on a rookie contract or Justin Fields making a ton of money but playing up to potential. So the Bears have a lot of intriguing options. And then obviously in terms of futures next year, I brought up the NFC North already. I don't think that's out of the question. I think that's the hardest division to predict going into next year as things stand right now, even with the Lions just being in the NFC title game. I would look at Justin Fields MVP if he's still on the Bears. I want to see what that number is. Montez Sweat, Defensive Player of the Year, is a fun long shot thought. But say if they were to stay at 1 and take Caleb, him for Rookie of the Year would probably be the favorite. Although Marvin Harrison Jr., Rookie of the Year, if he were to be on the Bears, would be a lot of fun as well as a potential future. And don't forget, they have their own pick at number 9. And what if they go defense? What if they, with their own pick, take Jared Verse or Dallas Turner? One of those guys could be the Defensive Rookie of the Year candidate. So maybe they take a defensive guy with the 9th pick and either take Williams at 1 or trade down to wherever and take Harrison. And then they have both Rookies of the Year, and they'll be the 3rd team in the row to do so with the Texans this past year and the Jets the year prior. So that's something to keep an eye out for the Bears. So, like I said, the Chicago Bears are the single most interesting team of this offseason, and that concludes the Bears edition of this show. Next up will be the Cincinnati Bengals, who are another interesting team this offseason.